Falcon fans, and of course, good old Falcon fans. You already know what it is. You already know what to do. One time for the fan. We are back. Another episode 181. Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, a couple more places you can find us. Just Google us. Feeling good, feeling great on this Monday evening here. Pop-up show for those that's listening, for those that's out here watching, wherever you are. Big shout out to everybody here in the chat. Big shout out to diehard Falcon fans. Terry, what's good, man? I think you're muted, Terry.
Sorry about that. And I had a beautiful intro. Sorry. Hey, man. Ready to get going on a Falcons pop-up Monday. Ready to talk some Falcons football and new transactions and new numbers, apparently. Looking forward to it.
Monday Madness.
Monday Madness, indeed.
I guess we can start with that. Monday Madness. Big shout out to all the diehard Atlanta Falcon fans here in the chat. Big shout out to all the diehard Atlanta Falcon fans watching the podcast. Let's see here. DSGB Hall is in the chat. 3 Dirty is also in the chat. One time for the fan with the red and black emojis. He's throwing them around. Darnell, Mr. Adamsville, West Side is in the building. What's up, people, man? Big shout out to Mr. Adamsville in the building, man. I tell you.
What's up, Darnell?
Man, growing up in Atlanta, man, some of these areas that you go to
bring back memories.
Bring back some memories, man. You know what I'm saying? Adamsville is a spot too as well. Being over there on that side of town, just randomly, with people that you know you might not supposed to be on that side of town with, but those are some good times, man. Back then, Adamsville is still a very historic spot here in the city, man. It's a big shot, Adamsville, man. Everybody over there on that west side too as well. Falcon fans in the chat, what's good? Justin Newman's here in the chat. He said, "What's good, fellas?" Jeff Wolf was also here in the chat. He said, "Replacing normal, no notice, no Sunday show." I gave the notice the other day. I gave the notice on the podcast that we were going to be at the Atlanta United game.
I wonder if we should have given maybe a little reminder or a little, just, I don't know, some kind of way, maybe a reminder.
I could have sworn I mentioned it the other day on the podcast, but
I think you did. You did mention it.
For those that wasn't here, I apologize. I know some people were waiting for the show last night. I did get some people hit me up and say, "Yeah, I was waiting for the show. I was XYZ. I was over here, another destination. I thought y'all were gonna go live. What happened?" We did not go live last night. We was watching Atlanta United get the dub.
The dub.
It's always good when 2-0,
right? Was it 2-0? 2-0, right?
2-0 in soccer world.
That's right.
2-0.
2-0. Because it's 2-0 in soccer, and it's not a field, it's a pitch, right?
You're on the pitch.
It's called the pitch. Yeah.
On the pitch.
Okay.
But I know some people might get it mixed up, but still Atlanta United winners of last night. Big dubs, man. They're playing so well. It's early in the season, but we might end up getting a team that could possibly make a run here, and can take off in the leaderboards on different levels. I mean, they have some top goal scoring people over there right now. They also have a very good team. So big shout out to them. Shout out to Atlanta United. Dwayne Ruffin is here in the chat. Pop up. Let's get it. What's up, fellas?
How goes it, Dwayne? All well? What's up, Justin?
Justin Newman is here in the chat too as well. Big shout out to Justin. Let's rise the hell up.
What's up, Wallace?
I'm trying to fix this audio here. Hold on. Let me back out 30 seconds and let me see if it works.
Well, guys, while Jack is working on that, I guess I'll keep it going. So, a couple of things. We re-signed Kentavious. Golly, what's his last name? Kentavious gonna be a second. We re-signed. I'm so sorry. Is it Kentavious Stewart? Guys, I apologize. Jack should be joining us shortly. Kentavia Street. Thank you, Chase. Thank you, Chase. You are a lifesaver. What's up to Chase, by the way? Thank you. Hey,
Bam,
Jack,
bam, bam.
I was trying to keep the crowd entertained, and I messed up Kentavia Street's name, so apologies.
We
But
always butcher names here on One Time for the Fan. I told you that guy.
I do it. I do it. I'm the
Played
guilty culprit.
with the Falcons last year, number 92, Ogundeji. Took me a while.
I'm not even gonna try and do that, sir.
It's tough. I just said number 92 for a while.
He's gonna be number 92 or Mr. O. How about that?
He could have been. Wallace Smith is here in the chat. He said, "What's good, fellas? 3 Dirty's also back in the chat. It's going down in a major way." Coy Bishop, diehard Atlanta Falcon fan, is also here in the chat too as well. Had to run these lines over here. I was over here running around trying to get this wire. So,
had to do it, man. Had to do it. Had to do it.
This cord up. Wallace Smith said, "What's going on with you, 3 Dirty?" In the chat, it's live. The chat is lit. Jeff Wolf said, "When you think of restructuring contracts, begin if they do." Big shout out to Jeff Wolf in the chat.
I would say pretty soon.
The restructuring contract is going to be big this week because if you want to get some money back in, the bank here for the Atlanta Falcons, the cap room space that they have, you definitely want to go and restructure a couple people, maybe release 1 or 2 guys that you can still make a move on. I know people have talked about Mike Hughes, people have talked about Lorenzo Carter too as well. But it's something to watch. But the restructures, I do think, would happen very soon. Terry, your thought on any restructures that can happen? I know they gave the bonus to Taylor over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I heard talk of them maybe restructuring Grady's deal. I can think of Grady. That's about all that comes to mind right now. I can't think of really anybody else that. Or wait a minute, maybe Jake. Maybe Jake, our tackle. Maybe those 2.
It's a couple people, if you ask me, looking at the numbers, right? I mean, most of the time when you go make these deals with some of these players, you kind of have in mind, and these are GMs, we're going to restructure some way, somehow down the line, right? We got to get a little bit of money back. Even people saw it with Matt Ryan when he made all that money. It was like, damn, when are you going to make some type of restructure for Matt to get some money back? Terry came in. You saw the moves that he made to get us out of cap hell. But Jesse Bates, maybe a name to watch on a small restructure. You just kind of get a little bit of cap space back. That's all it is. Just a little bit of bread. Ain't going to be too much. Jake Matthews, Caleb McGarry.
Maybe Jake. Yeah, I'm thinking Jake maybe. Maybe Jesse, if you can extend him some more. I mean, I'd like for Jesse to retire a Falcon. So, yeah, if you're talking extension, why not?
I think one name that has to stand out is Jake Matthews too as well. Coming to the end of his career soon. The money that he's making right now.
Left on his contract. Let's take a look at Jake.
Cool thing about it is
you can bring it up.
We can bring it up right here. On One Time for the Fan. See what we got here. Pull this up. Shout out to Deloach in the chat. Shout out to Alejandro Duncan in the chat. Keeping Heineke over Ritter. What are your thoughts? We're going to get to that too as well. Wallace Smith says, "Street." Jeff Wolf, street. Hey, shout out with the bankroll fresh voice. Taylor Granger is in the chat. He said, Tyler Granger is in the chat. He said, "You think we do anything else?" Yeah, definitely. I mean, you still got a couple more days left for free agency. Free agency is going to be running out, long period of time, but there's going to be so many names that you can bring up here for the Falcons that can help them out. They haven't attacked defense much. Fans are talking about it. Other content creators, and big shout out to all the content creators out there too. They're talking about it. What is the Falcons going to do on the defensive side of the ball? Right. And we saw that they haven't made the moves that the Falcon fans wanted on the defensive side of the ball. And fans are starting to get to the conclusion that they're probably going to load up on draft or around that time after all these teams, they pretty much pick up the not the last of the last, I don't want to say through free agency, but you're going to go into the draft knowing that your offense is looking well right now. You got to add another running back in the room. You got to add another tight end in the room. It's probably a couple of people will say you got to add another wide receiver in the room too as well, and get you a QB3, unless it's going to be Logan Woodside, which I doubt it's going to be that. But going into the draft, that edge rusher is big. Another nose tackle beside Grady, that is big. Another linebacker or two, that is big. Another cornerback, that is big. Another safety, that is big. And we're putting it out here for fans to know. That's what one time for the fan is looking at whenever we talk about what the draft could, look like for us. What the cap is looking like, the Coy Bishop, I think we're at 4.1 million. Have to go back and check now. I know they did the bonus to Taylor Heineke over the weekend, but 4.1 million is what we looked at going into the weekend. It's crazy. It's crazy how that money can be spent so quickly too with free agency. But when you get the right guys in place, when you sign a Darnell Mooney, when you sign a Kirk Cousins, and you sign some of these guys that can come over here, Raymond McLeod, come over here that can make a difference to your offense and make a difference to your teams in different avenues. I mean, that's where the money is spent well. I think Falcon fans here in the chat can grade what the Falcons have done in the offseason. We did it the other night on our panel. Big shout out to everybody else on the panel the other night with Country and Smitty and Berto and everybody else over there, A1 too as well. If I'm forgetting somebody, I apologize. But it was just great just hearing everybody's opinion of what the Falcons could do and what we're looking at going forward. And right now, for me, I'm satisfied with what they built around Kurt. People was a little bit worried about the quarterback situation with Kurt and how they're going to manage the money and an injury and all this other stuff. And then you see some of these weapons that they brought in to build this wide receiver group better with Drake London and, of course, Kyle Pitts too as well. They signed Charlie Warner too as well, blocking tight end, showing that they're putting the pieces in place. And Raheem is doing a fantastic job. So my grade the other night I gave them was a B- from what they've been doing so far. A couple pieces that I wanted to see signed through the free agency. But then again, I don't control the free agency. So I don't control the Falcons' money. I don't control the war room. It's just that some fans want to see certain pieces there, right? And if it doesn't happen, it's like, that's kind of upsetting. But, Devondre Campbell too as well. I think Devondre Campbell would have been a nice fit too for what we would have had here. But he went to the 49ers. All right, cool. There's other pieces out there that could still fit this scheme and make this team better, But I think the Falcons are doing still a phenomenal job. Terry, quickly before we get to Jake Matthews' contract and we go around the topics here, what is your grade for the Falcons so far?
I have to give them an A.
Nice.
I know they were in on Danielle Hunter. I know that. Danielle chose to go to Houston, so it's not like they weren't trying to get defensive guys. But hey, man, to pluck Kirk Cousins, a very, very, very serviceable, very good quarterback. I would say top 10 quarterback. I think that's an A. Not only to do that, but to completely rebuild your wide receiver room in 2 days. I think that's pretty good. Also, you sweep up Kentavia Street. You go and get a blocking tight end. You get a backup offensive lineman. I think what they've done thus far has been very good. I think they know what they're looking for. I think they know the system they want to run, and I think they are definitely acquiring weapons that fit that skill set. You'll notice with the receivers, the theme looks to be speed, not so much size, but speed. So, I have to give them an A. They clearly have a plan, and they're going about it. So, yeah, my grade for them is an A.
Looking at Jake Matthews' contract here, Falcon fans, let me go ahead and bring this up. Which one I was looking at earlier? Was it the picture? This one. Hold on, let me get this up here. Oh, it's not even showing to the share screen. Come on now, StreamYard. What are you doing?
Sometimes these computers have a mind of their own.
Man. All right, you see right there, boy? Big shout out to Wallace Smith in the chat too as well. Jake Matthews.
15 million.
Jake Matthews is getting a lot of money.
Getting the cheddar.
Getting the cheese. You don't have to. And this is we're not going to, doing a debate, the back and forth, fans in the chat. Like, yeah, cut this guy or not cut this guy. Restructure this guy, don't restructure. It's possible you can, looking at what he makes going into this season. Right? I mean, he's coming down to the end of his career too as well. Does he play until, how old is he? 32? Does he play until 35?
He might play until he's 37. His
I'd be
dad.
great to keep Jake here as long as possible. I mean, he's a phenomenal player.
Well, I think his dad and his uncle both played into their late 30s. I want to say. Yeah, I want to say they both played. Yeah, I want to say they both played into their late 30s.
It's possible here. Just looking at the numbers. What's up? We're good. Yeah, it's possible here looking at the numbers that it could happen. I mean, the Falcons are trying to, if they're going to make some more money, if they're trying to get some more money, definitely some of your veterans you want to look at too as well. Let me go to Grady Jarrett. See what look like Grady Jarrett's making. Grady Jarrett's contract. Okay, you got Grady Jarrett's contract. Extension base value $49 million, $34 million fully guaranteed. I can look to Jake and Grady for just a little small restructure. Just a little small one, but it's nothing major though, right? We ain't finna break the bank doing it. You know, I know the Bears did it earlier this season, opening up over $30 million in cap space by restructuring two guys. Or was it cutting two guys?
They cut two guys, right?
Cut two guys, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fans, there's a lot to look at.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you can afford to lose Hughes if you don't necessarily get the corner you want in the draft.
That's a good thing about it when it comes to this draft. We did a mock the other night. Looking at the cornerbacks.
Shout out to Berto.
Big shout out to Berto. He helped us select Penix in the second round. Max Melton was there in the third round. We was able to do some trades too as well. And it was actually great because we traded back in the first round. And we're going to do a mock here too as well coming up this Wednesday. So for Falcon fans in the chat that's heavy on these mock drafts, feel free to help us out Wednesday night. I've been watching some tape and reviewing too as well. And a lot of these players that we drafted in our previous mocks offline. And of course, what I've been seeing from other content creators too as well about their mocks and studying some of these players. But Latu was the first pick that we had on the board.
That's right.
That we got at number 11. Thanks to Berto. Penix was number 2. Corley, we had him in round 3, the wide receiver out of Western Kentucky. Max Melton was the cornerback in the third round too as well. We picked him up. Tyke Smith from Georgia, the safety, was able to grab him too as well. For the running back room, we went with Braylon Allen from the University of Wisconsin, a guy who is climbing up the charts right now. We got some draft guys who's going to be a part of the show here coming up in a matter of podcast, probably before the draft. And they're pretty big on Braylon Allen too as well. And they've been talking about this guy. He's the big one, 6'2", like 240. He's going crazy. And of course, a lot of fans are excited about if he could land here in Atlanta too as well. Christian Boyd from Northern Iowa was our round 5 pick. Interior defensive lineman. Alberto raved heavily about this guy, about how much of a stud he could be in the league. Brennan Jackson from Washington State. There was another guy. I saw some of the tape on Brennan Jackson. A little bit tough on, saying that this guy would be a fit here for Atlanta for some of the tape I watched. But then again, when you're around people who's watched more tape than what I've seen, it's good to share their opinions and tell us, why Brennan Jackson would be a good fit. So he was there in round 6. And Hunter Norzad, the center from Penn State, we got in round 6 too as well. So we got a B+ grade, even on the Michael Penix pick. Before knowing Taylor Heineke had got re-signed with the roster bonus. They got an A for the Penix pick. So Berto's raving. He's super happy. He's like, told you guys. So
got him in the second round, right?
Yeah, got him in the second round. Penix was still on the board. I wanted Sweat. I called Sweat from Texas. Everybody was like, no, you can't do it. And then Berto was like, we need to go look at the future. Think about the future. I was like, all right, I will think about the future here on the podcast. Plus, it was already like 24 minutes in the second round of our mock. Chat was going crazy, too. They were like, you guys would never be GMs here. We're already past the pick. It's 24 minutes.
I remember that.
Shout out to her little self in the chat, too, as well. Her little self was going off in the chat. diehard Atlanta Falcon fan. You probably seen her little self on the Halo board a lot at the Benz for the fans that do attend the games and so forth. But yeah, she's just a blessing in the Falcons community. But she was in the chat going hard at us, like, "What are you guys doing here? How are you selecting this guy? What are you guys looking at?" Wallace Smith, I think, was there too as well. But we had fun with it. Eric Parker's also here in the chat. But our grade was a B plus. Felt pretty good about it. Huh?
I said LBB.
LBB's in the chat. That's right, man.
What's up, LBB? How you doing, man? You all right?
Michael Nellums, Jake, $17 million a year, average through 2026. Wallace Smith said, I think it's down to $3.4 million now. Yes, with the roster bonus, Wallace Smith, I believe it is down to $3.4 million now.
He's right.
Tyler's in the chat said, we need an edge bad. Tyler, we definitely need an edge bad, which is why I think the lot 2 pick kind of fits. The kid is balling out on a whole nother level. I know we talked about Dallas Turner here on the channel a lot. We also talked about Jared Verse on the channel, trading back, different moves you can make. Some people said go corner in the first round so that we can put a guy beside AJ. Some people said, hell, still take the wide receiver in the first round, the way you got Kirk Cousins and how you can be balling out. But I think Falcon fans would love to be rewarded. Some of the Falcon fans, but don't forget, when we mention Falcon fans, we don't mean everybody because we don't know everybody's opinion. So some of the Falcon fans, I'm sure, would be like, if we can get an edge rusher or a defensive guy with that number 8 pick, or even if we cherry back. Terry, looking at the team right now, looking at how they're shaping things on the offense and helping out Kirk Cousins in multiple ways, they can still attack the free agency. I mean, they can still make some moves. What are you looking at when it comes to the draft now? Has anything changed since the last podcast or the podcast before last, before we got Kirk? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm pretty much I'm thinking defense in the draft. Now you did get Kentavious Street today, and nobody's really mentioning it, but Kentavious is solid. He is a solid contributor. You get him, you get Grady back, you get Onyemata. I think we're going to be solid up front. So we need some edge rushers. So for me, it's all about Dallas Turner. The other kid that you referred to, Jack, I just look, we need some pass rush, man. I don't know that we're going to be able to sign any sexy defensive rushers. Right now, we got $3 million in the kitty. You figure we renegotiate, we can get up to 10, 12, maybe. I don't know that you're really signing anyone. I mean, maybe we can sign, I don't know, maybe Calais Campbell. Maybe we could bring him back. Maybe we could bring back Bud Dupree. But, the big, sexy targets out there, I think we're past that. So at this point, it's all about the draft for me. And I think we should go defense. Now, again, if you could get Penix in the second round, I'm not necessarily opposed to it. You don't have to because you have Kirk Cousins for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you draft Penix now, you're drafting him to play in 4 years. He's going to sit on the bench, which, you could do, but I don't think you have to. I don't think you necessarily, and if you have to draft a quarterback, it doesn't have to be Penix and it doesn't have to be in the second round, right? If they did it, I'm not saying I would be upset about it. I wouldn't be. But I think the focal point of this draft should definitely be defense because we need a cornerback. We need another safety. We need a couple, at least 2 edge rushers, by my mind's eye and my thought process. So I'm thinking this draft should be defense. And if you just happen to see a vet or 2 that you can sign out there to add to it, well, great. I think we should pretty much be done on offense with the exception of a running back. Maybe another backup offensive lineman. I know we lost Hennessy over the weekend. But, my thoughts are draft, focus, defense. That's what I'm thinking.
Diehard Atlanta Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We are almost at 800 subscribers. So we just crossed over 700. Big shout out to everybody that's been rocking with One Time for the Fam. Want to say thank you all for all the support, all the blessings that y'all been giving us here on the channel. The Dixon Way said, what's up, fellas? What are we talking about tonight? I'm making my schedule for the NCAA tournament right now before we have our Hawk stream tonight at 10:30 p.m. Have a great stream. The Dixon Way, who was a special guest here on the channel recently. Big shout out to the Dixon Way, what he got going on
Shout out.
over there. Everybody phone ringing tonight, Terry. What's going
Yeah,
on, man?
yes
Blowing
it
up.
is. Yes it is. I don't know. I don't know. What's up, Dixon Way?
Shout out to the Dixon Way. I was speaking about the NCAA tournament too as well. My Zags, man. Big shout out to Gonzaga. I believe we're over there. Where do we get that? We're over there next to Purdue, and that's the one that kind of has me upset. Like they kind of set us up by putting us next to Purdue. Matter of fact, let me see the Zags real quick. Yeah, Gonzaga has McNeese State. And let's see the winner of that Kansas Sanford game. I think we can clear both of those. And then Purdue has Montana State, Grambling, Utah State, and TCU is going to play. Purdue's probably going to clear that. They got a really good team. I'm looking at Gonzaga and Purdue. In that round, South Carolina's at the bottom with Akron and Texas. South Carolina's probably going to win that group over there in the Midwest Regional. So big shout out to the Dixon Way. When you talk about the NCAA tournament, man, my Zags, hopefully they can make it past that round of 16, man. Big shout out to Gonzaga, man. But it's going down in a major way. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We're going to keep this show short and sweet tonight. Chase from Dirty Fanatics United is why he's not here tonight. He's preparing for his show over there on his channel.
What's up, Chase?
Big shout out to Chase, man. Big shout out to Bodie. Big shout out to Kiki, too, as well. King Atlanta supporter here. He said they got to get some defensive players now. King Atlanta supporter. Terry, we can say this. Is King Atlanta supporter in our chat?
Yeah, looks
has
like
to be in our has to be in our private chat because we talk about this all the time. The defense, we gotta get some names out here. You know, I know we got Jesse. I know we still have AJ. I know we still have Grady. We still have some weapons out there on defense. Mm-hmm. But people want to see a couple signings come up. I think the street signing has the team feeling, oh, okay, here we go. It's Monday. They've re-signed Street the start of the week. Maybe tomorrow we get cooking with whatever else we have left.
Hey, maybe we bring back
bringing in one or two guys who can fit. It's very much so possible. I want to see them get cooking on the defensive side too as well, to where Falcon fans are seeing the offense shape. You have Drake London in your wide receiver room. You have Rondell Moore. You have Mooney. You have Raymond McLeod over there. You have Cordero Hodge. You can still add another receiver over there in that group too as well, right? Tight end room too as well. You have Pitts. You have, matter of fact, where my boy Scott at? Where my boy
you got Warner.
You got Warner.
I'd like to see him bring back Michael Pruitt. I like him.
All right, let's bring this up. You know we love going to that share screen. All right, let's bring this up. All right, big shout out to King of London supporter in the chat. Let me close this banner down. All right, I'm sure you guys can see that. Scott's heuristics in the chat. On the screen right here, as you can see, you got Kirk Cousins, Taylor Heineke right here. So you're going to have to fill in that spot with another quarterback. Going to this running back room, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Avery Williams, Tucker Fisk. I mean, how they're going to place him. Carlos Washington, Robert Burns. We're going to see guys right here that's probably not going to make the list. From Avery all the way down, I don't want to just go ahead and start looking at the roster and saying, hey, this is going to happen. But we're probably going to bring in another running back, either through the draft or probably in the free agency. I'm thinking draft. So much speedster, so much talent you have there that could fit this team for what direction we want to go with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Looking at your wide receiver group, Drake London, Rondell Moore, Mooney, Raymond McLeod, Cordero Hodge. And this is the unofficial depth chart. So please don't go after Scott Cursick and say, Scott, what did you do here?
Right.
This is unofficial, right? We have a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen, a long way to go. Josh Ali, Chris Blair, Austin Mack, all this talent in the draft. You got to pick up a guy here in that area. Going to the tight end area, Falcon fans could look at this and say, hey, we can have a competition battle. It'd be pretty cool to see, Charlie Warren and John Fitzpatrick hash it out. But maybe the Falcons go a different direction, like you said, and bring in a Pruitt and not just make it this is our tight end group, right? They might make some competition battles out there. Some fans are wondering how John Fitzpatrick could fit into this offense too as well. They haven't seen much of him, right? And maybe this could be a year where he gets his shine. I mentioned that in a chat the other day with some Falcon fans where some players from the old team stay with the new regime and some players from the old team leave. That's just how it is when it comes to the NFL. And John Fitzpatrick so far could have a shot at doing some big things here in Atlanta. Jake Matthews too as well now. Yeah, Caleb McGarry, yeah, Storm Norton, Tyler Vrabel. The offensive line group is going to be crazy when it comes to camp and the competition battles. Like who's battling for that second spot is going to be crazy. A lot of the time last year I was focused on the wide receiver group and some other stuff when I was at camp. But this year I'm focusing on that offensive line and that defense. Because I see the wide receiver group, the running back room is going to be pretty easy to look and see who's going to be making the team. And then if you're looking at this offensive line group behind Lindstrom, behind Bergeron, behind Dahlman, who's going to be behind Caleb McGarry if Caleb McGarry is still going to be a part of this team too as well. Some Falcon fans say, trade him, get him out of here. Look what he's done. You don't want him here to help protect Kirk Cousins. I'm not the call of that. We'll talk about it when it happens. And of course, this defense, Grady Jarrett, David Amiata, Tyquan Graham, Zach Harrison, Kadarius Street, Lakel London, names that we can also see leave the building here shortly too as well. This is the unofficial depth chart. Falcons going to be making a lot of moves here before the draft and after the draft, before minicamp, during minicamp, and after minicamp. It's just how it is in the NFL. Zoe Carter, Arnold Ebiketie, who looks surprising to have a big season this year. DeAndre Malone, who fans want to see break out. So looking at this depth chart, Terry, it's beautiful, man, to know that they're putting things in place right now, right? Yeah, getting fans excited about what can happen here.
Don't most NFL teams carry 4 tight ends or 5? I would say
3 to 4, yes.
Okay,
that fifth one's like you carrying 5 right? Tight ends. You dressing 5 tight ends today?
No. You dress 3, but I'm saying they carry 5, right? Yeah. Typically, or at least 4, minimum 4, maybe 4 on the roster and 1 on the practice squad, right? I'm assuming, because we only have 3 on there, which means that you got to see a move there, whether that's draft or maybe signing somebody.
And big shout out to the Falcon fans in the chat. One thing I do want to, let you all know too as well, is you see the move that happened with Taylor Heinicke over the weekend. And we talked about this, Terry, the other day before the Falcons made the move of giving him the roster bonus, right? And making him the QB2. But that's why I want Falcon fans to know, when you're talking Falcons football with people, sometimes something will happen after you just put up a conversation with somebody or a debate with somebody or back and forth. And it's like, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes with the Atlanta Falcons. We went into the weekend not knowing if Taylor Heinicke would be the QB2, and came out of the weekend first thing Monday morning, and they said Taylor Heinicke got the roster bonus over the weekend, and he's the QB2. That's how it works in the NFL. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and the cool thing about it is, for everybody here who talks about the Atlanta Falcons, everybody does share their opinion about what the team can do and what direction they can go. But I think everybody's kind of excited. Like, there are some people I've talked to that is not too excited about the team because of Kirk Cousins and because of the money, and if he gets injured, what are we going to do? I totally understand the situation. As a Falcon fan, we've all been in different scenarios and different circumstances where it's like, we were doing so well, and then we went downhill. And then we started off so slow, and then we picked up, and then we went downhill. We've all been in these circumstances. We've been fans more than 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years here. We don't have a ring. We don't. We've been in all these scenarios. We've been about it. Let's hope that Raheem, for Jeff Wolf, for Coy Bishop, for King of Atlanta supporter, for Dixon Way, let's hope that Raheem, Terry, this group is the group. Kirk Cousins.
We can hope.
Bijan Robinson, Drake London, right? I heard this morning that they were talking about on the radio too as well, that they were interested in Spencer Rattler too as well. And Spencer Rattler coming out of the draft, if he's going to be here in Atlanta, goes for him too as well. He's trying to come over here to say, hey, I'm going to a team that has rebuilt well, and I can learn a little bit from Kirk Cousins and Taylor Heinicke.
I think Taylor Heinicke's signing is I think it's better than people think. We had a conversation about this, Jack, and what I didn't think about is, Heinicke was in Washington when some of our Falcon staff were in Washington, so I think he's familiar with the system. Again, I think Zach Robinson, being a quarterback whisperer, receiver whisperer, just a teacher, will probably get more out of Heineke. Will he be more accurate? That remains to be seen. But I think I shouldn't say a lot, but some of last year's inaccuracy may have been due to, okay, you got two guys in the same spot. I don't know who I'm throwing to. I don't know. I can't make excuses for him. But what I can say is the Heineke that we saw last year is not the same Heineke.
That's not the Heineke that they brought in from Washington.
It's not. It's not, because he beat us not once but twice and torched us.
Mm-hmm. So, in the pocket too as well. A couple times he did run out the pocket, but yeah, he was. Yeah. That's not the Heineke that we saw come from Washington, which goes to show you got two pocket passing quarterbacks. They want to keep the system. If something happens, he's out for a game or two. Taylor can come in, know the same system, and what Taylor is also, don't forget now. Last year, we did mention he is from Collins Hill now. He's from up the road now. Don't forget about Taylor now. He's from up the street now. I know people talking about Kurt White from Atlanta. Taylor from up the street now. You know what I'm saying? But big shout out to everybody here on the Atlanta Falcons that can do whatever they can this season to help this team rebound and bounce back in the right way, right? Because we're in a situation where now people are going to say you're not a quarterback away. Now people are going to say you have the quarterback. So what are you going to be missing now? What are we missing? People was talking about that the past couple of years. You're a quarterback away. You're a quarterback away. Now we got Kirk Cousins. So there's going to be some interesting games this season. That Minnesota game with Kirk going back to Minnesota, that's going to be a good one. The Steelers with Arthur Smith coming back to the Benz.
Very good one. Very good one. I think that's going to be interesting because
Kirk Cousins. Go ahead.
Yep. Like, bro, you got Russell. So there's so many things with that matchup, Jack. You got number one, Russell and Sierra against Future, right? Then you got Justin, who's probably feeling rejected by the Falcons, coming back as the backup. Then you have Arthur Smith. There's so many storylines in that game. I'd be surprised if that's not a primetime game.
Fields too as well. They're going to probably run some plays with Fields, the Steelers.
Oh yeah.
Just to get the fans excited and say, "Oh my God, we ran that dual threat shit." Whatever is whatever. Yeah. Big shout out to Future got that billboard right down the street from the stadium too as well. It's crazy how they put it right down the street from the stadium. But the Future Metro Boomin' too as well. Album dropping this week. I like I'm promoting this shit. But also Kirk Cousins going back to Washington to play with the Falcons. Dan Quinn, who's the head coach of the Falcons. Dan Quinn was the head coach. Dan
Quinn, right. The Revenge Bowl.
The Revenge Bowl game.
Yeah, I think we should name this year the Revenge Tour, right? Because we got Dan Quinn, we got Arthur Smith. I think we got one more, right? We've got Kirk going back to Minnesota.
You got Falcon fans who, outside of the NFC South, we really hate this team in the NFL. And I think a lot of NFL teams hate this team. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Got the Dallas Cowboys coming to the Benz. And also when you look at why they went with Kirk too as well, and I'm sure it was probably just a quick cliff note on the table somewhere of their thousands of notes that they went over about their quarterbacks. But they went with a guy with experience to match up against who they're playing against this year. You have an NFC South where even for Derek Carr, he's looking at Kirk Cousins like, yeah, that guy's pretty good.
He's decent. Yeah, he's decent.
You got Baker Mayfield even saying the same thing too, where he had his run with the Buccaneers and they're setting up to try to go back and win the division. They're going to look over at Atlanta and say, oh, it's going to be a totally different back-to-back game this year.
Well, you got to prove it on the field.
Yeah, you got to prove it on the field. But the team does look better to where we can talk about these things. And I'm sure the Bucs community is talking about it too. I know the Panthers community is talking about it too. The Falcons are looking dangerous right now.
Yeah.
There's Cowboys fans who's mad because they haven't done nothing.
Yeah.
So how do you think they're looking at the NFL with all these players getting signed and people moving around and all this stuff? They ain't doing jack.
Didn't Jerry say he was going all in? Didn't he say that at the beginning of the offseason?
It seems to be
going all in.
He's all out. Coy Bishop's
Yeah.
in the chat. If our defense play like last year, we're going to be dangerous. If your defense play like that, if your defense plays like last year, and you have Kirk Cousins style play of what you got the past couple years on his stats, you're going back to the playoffs.
Without a doubt.
How many times do we have to say this?
Without a doubt.
We're going back to the playoffs if you have consistent quarterback play, a healthy quarterback, a healthy Kirk Cousins, an offensive line that can block and protect Kirk Cousins too as well. This isn't the mobile game, right? This is a playbook where Kirk Cousins is going to probably help be a part of this because he's had so much experience and knowledge with different systems and knowing what to do and where to go and why to go there. That's why I think they went after Kirk Cousins too as well. It's another cliff note on their table. I think the one about his wife being from Atlanta is probably like somewhere at the bottom of the cliff notes.
Yeah.
But looking at who he is as a quarterback, he's an outstanding quarterback. You can go back and watch the Quarterback on Netflix series will get you ready for what you're about to see with Kirk Cousins. He has a passion to play football and a passion to win.
Yes, he
and
does.
As a fan, I'm all for it. I heard that with Matt Ryan too as well when he talks. I've heard it with multiple quarterbacks when they talk to their teams and their fans. And I heard what I said. I heard what Kurt said the other day in the interview when he was talking to the media, and it just had me feeling good to know, okay, I'm a little bit better now as a fan to see that he's here and what he could do with this team. Marcus Cousins said, "What's good, fam? Why not restructure Matthews and McGarry and go get edge and free agency and double down on edge and draft?" Well, Jeff Wolf just posted it. We don't even have enough money to sign our draft class as of now. You got to restructure some people.
Or cut somebody.
Or make a couple cuts.
Yeah.
We ain't cutting no big boys. You better not be cutting no big boys.
No, I don't think that.
Not the ones that hold weight on this team. Some of the fans know that Carter's name has been brought up. Mike Hughes' name has been brought up.
Yeah.
And then the restructures that go around it. But if you see a surprising AJ Terrell has been, AJ Terrell, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah. Don't even
That's
put
what
that
I'm say, wow, I'm just surprised. But the two names people talked about was Hughes and Carter. That was even back when before the free agency started. And then, of course, restructuring some people. But here's the good thing, Marcus. Here's the good thing, Jeff. Here's the good thing, Coy, King of Atlanta, Paul Hopkins. Here's the good thing. Terry so far has shown you he can get this done. Don't trip.
Yeah, he can.
Don't trip. And we're just here to just piggyback off what Terry's thinking right now. Don't trip. Yeah. I'm not tripping about looking at 3.3 or 3.4 million in cap space. And I'm thinking to myself, how can we do this? How can we do that? What are we going to do? What? I was like that before the Kirk Cousins deal. And then once the deal went through, I was like, holy shit, Falcons. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Thank you, Terry.
Well, you know, TF or TF baby, as we call him, you know, he's from New Orleans he's from their organization. And what I will say, although it pains me to say because it's about the Swampers, but what I will say about them is every year, like they're at 30 million over. And then by the end of the offseason, they're maybe 10, 20 million under. So they figure out a way to do this, and being groomed in that system and in that environment, I would like to think that he's figured out a thing or two about getting under the cap or managing cap space in general. So I think we'll be fine. What I'd like to ask you, Jack, is we've talked often about, or we've referenced an elite process. You know, we've thrown that or bandied that about, you know, for the last 2-3 months. Can you talk about what an elite processor at the quarterback position is, what they do? What does that mean for those of us fans out there who are maybe, I don't know, new to Falcons football, new to football in general? What does it mean when you say you are an elite processor?
Well, as I'm talking, let me bring this up. We're getting ready to wrap up the podcast here. I know Dirty Fanatics United is getting ready to start soon, so we want to definitely head over and see what Chase got going on. I just want to pull this up as you mentioned the elite processor. Right? Falcon fans, I'm sure you guys can see this. If not, I'm going to go ahead and set this up on your screen. Just give me a couple seconds in here. I need to get the waiting music going. I don't know where Bodie's at, but we'll make sure that is taken care of. Here we go. So you can see that right now on the screen.
Yeah.
So we're going over Kirk Cousins' stats here. An elite processor is pretty much, if you want to just look at an example of what the screen is showing with the stats, is a guy who makes the right decisions at the right time.
Right.
Right. And I know
So
there's some losses that weigh heavy on the team of what the Vikings had, and some would say it's Kirk Cousins, but looking at what he's done, looking at all he's provided for the teams he's played for, this is what elite processing looks like. 29-11 touchdown to 11 ratio, 25-12, 27-13, 30-10. A guy who gets into the pocket, gets the people that he needs involved quickly.
right.
Gets the people who is not involved up to speed quickly. Because
Right.
the way he plays the game is like, look, guys, we're one team, we're one sound. Right? We need to go out there and be on the same page. And I understand he's played in some systems that was not on the same page. But Kirk Cousins doing his job as a quarterback was on the page he needed to be on. 4,500
Right.
yards right here, 4,200 yards right
Right.
here, 4,200
Yep.
yards right here,
Yep.
4,900 yards right here. Don't forget our Super
Yep.
Bowl season too as well when we went against the Patriots. But you're looking at a guy who would make players around him better, right?
Yes.
He would, and this is going off of just Kirk Cousins, characteristics and his traits and his personality. Now the elite processing side, when you give him a playbook, it's not hard for Kirk to say, reading defense wise, where he's going and why he's
There
going.
we go. And that's where I was going, Jack. Right. So
Reading defense.
essentially, when Kirk comes up to the line, he's going to see, okay, they're in zone, they're in man. This guy's blitzing. Okay,
Yes.
let me adjust the offensive line. Okay, where's my hot route? Meaning, when I say hot route, where is the receiver
Yes.
that is going to run a
Audibling at the
quick
right
route
time of
on a blitz?
audibles, motions
Correct.
at the right time of motions,
Correct.
knowing. And I like certain pieces, and I go around and I watch the NFL on different levels, and I'll go around and I'll watch just mic'd up different type of film and different type of stuff. And when you hear Aaron Rodgers and some of these guys talking in the huddle and talking with their teammates or before the snap, that's what you're getting with Kirk Cousins, where he's calling out what the mic is doing.
Correct.
He's
Middle
calling out what
linebacker
the
being the
defense,
mic.
what the middle line. He's calling out what the secondary is doing.
Yes.
He knows when they're shifted. He knows when they're disguising. He's been in systems where he's not afraid to make adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
The stats show that he's not afraid to make adjustments. This isn't a guy that's 11-27,
right,
or 9-15 for
right.
3,200 yards. This is a
He's
guy,
winning.
even on the 3,600 yard season, it was 26-6.
Yep.
This is a guy who's going to get into the end zone. And that's why I think for the Falcons, you have to do your best to protect him.
Yes.
You have to run the ball a lot more too as well, where Kirk hasn't
100%
had a
agree.
Bijan Robinson in his life.
Yes.
A Tyler Algier and a Bijan Robinson in his life.
And a third back as well.
And we're about to get a third back. So we're rewarding Kirk with, how good he is as a passer. But guess what? You got some weapons around you where your 1st and 10s are going to turn into 2nd and 1s very quickly, and you haven't even thrown the ball yet.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And then from that, you might even run the ball again, and now you're down to another 1st and 10. It's like, holy shit, I can throw when I want to now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus forcing the throws. Elite processor, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, even Joe Flacco in his young career too as well. Younger days.
Tom
Brady,
mm-hmm.
Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say now, well, give me some more elite processors. Well, I think the Bills value Josh Allen as that. Right? That's why they're giving everything around Josh Allen. That's why it's like, we're going to build this stadium. You're probably going to be the future franchise quarterback. Some in Jacksonville believe it's Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can say Pat Mahomes.
Definitely say Pat Mahomes, right? But
Peyton Manning, if you want to go back to the throwback.
Oh, definitely Peyton Manning. The point I was making is that when we say elite processor, we essentially mean a guy that can see the defense coming and make the necessary adjustments. Because when you have a rookie, a lot of times they may not be savvy enough to do that. So they may see some blitzes coming and others they may not. And if you don't get the offensive line in the position it needs to be, if you don't call the appropriate hot route, you're going to be on your back. So that's what we mean when we say elite processor. And I think it's going to be, I think you'll see a difference, right? I think you'll see a difference. And I'm predicting another 4,500 yard season, maybe 32 touchdowns, 3 or 4 interceptions, a first round bye, and maybe a playoff victory. If things go right. If things go
Falcon
right.
fans, we know what the schedule is going to look like in about 2 months. We
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, we already know the teams. We don't know when we're playing them and when, the dates and so forth. What we do know is I feel better about matching up against Philly right now. I
Mm-hmm.
feel better against matching up about teams that's well coached right now. And I haven't even seen my team play yet.
Mm-hmm.
People talking about the Chiefs game. You saw the Lions when they played the Chiefs last year with Goff. You might get that with Kirk Cousins, where it's not going to just be the Chiefs coming in here and just running wild on our team. You might get a team where it's like, bro, it's my 21-21 going into the fourth. Just putting it out there, fast forwarding into the future. Then again, it's kind of tough. I don't want fans calling you out. No, you said 21-21. Jack, you said it. It's 21-17.
I was there. You said it.
I was there. You said
You don't know what you're talking about, Jack. You said it.
We just want fans to know that you should be excited about a team that Terry Raheem and this coaching staff, this organization is putting together to make DSGB Hall jump into a chat on a Monday in March and talk Falcons football. DSGB Hall knows it could be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. He might get a text about some Falcons football. He's going to respond because you're seeing that you know you can talk shit on a whole nother level before the season starts. There's different levels of talking shit. You got the preseason talk shitters. You got the ones that talk shit during the season, and the ones that talk shit after the season, and then the ones that just do it year round. Some people don't do it the preseason. They don't want it. I ain't talking shit until my team play. What I look like talking shit for. There's some fans out here that's like, nah, F that. We got Kirk Cousins. We got Rondell Moore. We got Bijan. We got Drake. We got Kyle Pitts. We got Jesse Bates. We got AJ. We got Grady. We gonna chop it up now. We're gonna start calling to the division now. And I love to see it.
I'll be glad we can ring check.
The ring check is gonna be amazing.
Ring check.
Because it's gonna be like, this has been years, yo. This is not no expansion team. It's been years.
Oh, it's gonna be glorious.
We're gonna be ring checking. We're gonna be at the Publix just ring checking people. Like, can you ring this up?
Yeah.
Can you ring this up, please?
Yeah.
Can you ring it up? Can you ring it up? You can be at the restaurant. Can I get you have how much is the steak and potato? You just give me.
There you go. Yeah.
Sign with this hand. Want me to sign with this one? This one right here? All right, I'm gonna sign real quick for you.
How about that?
On, let me.
How about that?
Knocking my ring. Pen keep knocking my Super Bowl ring as a fan.
Is my bling blinding you? Can you see it? Can you see it? There's a story behind this. Oh man, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Oh man.
Going to be a great feeling when we win, when we get back on track. I think it starts, it's a long season, right? You're 1-0, you're 2-0, you're 3-1, you're 4-2, you're 5-2, you're 6-2. We're gonna get that feeling back again, Falcon fans. Let's bring the community together now to show other NFL fan bases. Not only are we going to win on the field with this team, we're going to kick your ass off the field too as well. In the Falcons communities because there's a couple Falcon versus Panther groups and Falcon Saint group and Falcon Buck group. Otherwise, when the Bucks won the division last year, before the season starts this year, everybody should be praising the Falcons. Like, you guys finna go crazy on y'all. We finna go crazy.
Let's do it. We're
gonna go crazy, man. I can't wait. Dirty Finesse now is getting ready to get started. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Bacon Steve is in the chat. Commanders fan here. How do you feel about Kirk Cousins? Get ready. He's gonna blow a lot of games for not being negative or trying to rain on your parade. But KC never won anything, period.
That's okay. You know what? There's always a first time, Bacon Steve. There's always a first time. Guess what? Before Belichick went to the Patriots, he didn't win anything either. So I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say Kurt's going to win something here. And I'm looking forward to it, man. So I'm excited. I'm going to be quiet now because we got to get out of here.
Bacon Steve, a Commanders fan. Big shout out to you, Bacon Steve.
Yep. Shout out, Bacon Steve.
When we come to Washington, Bacon Steve. When we come to Washington, if you want to pull up on the podcast and talk Commanders Falcons, we can do it.
Hey, man. Pull up, Bacon Steve.
If you're at the game,
we'll be glad to see you.
We'll definitely be glad to chop it up with you at the game too as
Glad
well.
to
Come
see
on
you.
by
What's up,
if you can make
Calvin?
it. If you can make it through our halftime photo that we put on,
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of people there.
yeah.
But Bacon Steve is a Commanders fan who is a diehard, just
Hey
like us
man,
here with
shout
the
out to
Atlanta
him for
Falcons.
coming in the chat. Shout out to him for coming in the chat.
Yeah, unity
Yeah.
from King Atlanta supporter.
There you go. There you go, King Atlanta. There you go. Love it.
Mactown Dirty. So what's up,
What's
fellas?
up? What's up, Mactown Dirty?
Oh Shucky Ducky. Sullivan
Ducky
said, "Oh
Ducky,
Shucky Ducky,
the one and only man, Sully. All right.
man Sully is here in the chat. Bacon Steve said, happy for you guys. You should win the NFC South Division. Hands down. Love to see brothers happy about their team. See you when we play." That is a
All right,
fan
Bacon Steve.
of a respected NFL team. And big shout out to you, my friend. Once again,
Definitely,
the platform
Bacon
is
Steve. We
open.
appreciate it.
Falcons
We appreciate
Commanders that week. Come on by. Let's talk some Falcons football.
Come
Bacon
on
Steve.
by.
Falcons
Let's do it.
Commanders. Let's talk
Come
some
on
Falcons
down.
Should have known there was something about Bacon Steve. He said, so Manuel, I don't know if he was here the last time. He was in the chat when we was talking about moving up in the draft before Kirk Cousins.
He was.
Trade up.
He was.
And he said, hey guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, the talk of the town is Jaden Daniels. I don't know about no trading up because he's in Washington. He's a Commander fan. He was in the chat telling us, y'all can stop all this trading up stuff because Washington is staying put.
Yep.
And that is coming from a Commander fan. That's why I was telling fans, we don't know some of this stuff when we're not looking at it. But then a fan who follows his NFL team, who just likes watching or listening to other NFL podcasts, jumps in here and tells us, hey, man, I'm just getting you guys the word on the street. And he wasn't being rude or disrespectful either. He jumped in the chat and said, hey, guys, Commander fan here. Love the podcast. Just want to let you guys know what's going on in Washington right now. It's Jaden Daniels. We are not trading. Don't expect for us to call you guys or you guys are calling us. We're hearing is Jaden Daniels. But Bacon Steve being here.
You can pretty much do the top three now. Oh, Bacon Steve said he'll be there. You can pretty much call the top three now. We know Caleb's going 1, Jaden's going 2, Drake's going 3.
I think we already had these roundabouts like a couple days ago, a couple podcasts ago. Like we gave so many scenarios. You can't sit here and say one time for the fan didn't give you that scenario. 1, 2, and 3 was always supposed to be quarterback. And it was like, how can we trade up? But then we talked about it, Terry. You can't go into the draft without a quarterback. It looks tough. And look at some of these teams right now that don't have a quarterback that's trying to fight to go get a J.J. McCarthy at 6 or a J.J. McCarthy at 5. We didn't want to do that. There would have been fans in this chat saying, I don't know, man. I don't know. We missed on Drake. We missed on Daniels. We missed on Cousins. We missed on Wilsons. We missed on Field. We missed on who do we got? And now there's other fans that's upset about the Kirk Cousins situation. They're upset about not getting Russell Wilson. They're upset about not getting. I told you guys, when it comes to fans, you can put a whole bunch of fans in a room and say, who is a Falcon fan? Everybody raise their hand. Everybody's going to raise their hand. And then once you say, who's a fan of Drake London? Step to the left. Half of the people's going to step to the left. Once again, I start over. Who's a Falcon fan, everybody? Everybody's going to put their hand up. All right, y'all. If you're a fan of Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, step to the right.
Wait, I don't know which is right.
Other people's going to be standing in the middle. Yeah, I'm looking at the camera like, well, my right is kind of
exactly.
People's going to be standing in the middle. All right, y'all. Everybody who's comfortable with Raheem Morris as your coach, put your hand. Step to the left. I'm good.
This is my left.
But other fans are going to be like, shit, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fans, how y'all cool about the $2 cheeseburgers? Which way do we go? Ain't nobody gonna get mad about the cheeseburgers.
No, the food is affordable.
The food is affordable.
Definitely affordable.
So I know Falcon fans feel some routes we should go to make their point valid. But look at this. The route that the Falcons go is the route that we should be going. Because the Falcons are making those decisions right now. I know some of us might look at this and say, nah, man, Terry, that was a bad move with Ray. Terry, should never traded Ritter for Rondell. Bad move. And we respect that.
I don't have an issue with anything he did because, again, I don't think Russ wanted to come here, number one, right? I don't think Russ wanted to come here. I don't think
Mhm.
necessarily Justin Fields fit what we were trying to do from a quarterback perspective.
Now we see it now. Now we
The-
see
right.
what they were trying to do.
Your only shot, which thank God Arthur made it, Arthur Blank took it and hit it, was Kirk Cousins because of what you're trying to do offensively.
But we also mentioned you came from years of LA with Matthew Stafford, a
There you
pocket
go.
passing veteran
There you go.
quarterback
There
who
you
was
go.
in his 30s, who Zach Robinson was in that war room and helped with the design of
Mhm,
what was going on in there too as
mhm,
well. I understand he
mhm,
wasn't the OC. I understand he didn't call the plays, but he was there.
mhm.
So to reward your OC, who was brought over from your head coach, who was with him on another team. This isn't Raheem going to go get the guy from the Bills offensive coordinator.
Right.
This is the guy
You
that
got to
he's
work in
worked with.
relationships. Right. Correct.
Relationships.
Right.
Zach said he feels it's Kurt. Remember that talk going into the combine was Kurt, 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 Kurt. Kurt will
Mm-hmm.
Kurt. Coming out of the
Mm-hmm.
combine free agency starts, it's Kurt. And we
Mm-hmm.
accept that and we run with it because the Falcons seen that they can move with a guy like Kirk Cousins once he's 100% healthy. And hearing the words that Kurt is going to be healthy by the time minicamp is over, it's great
Mm-hmm.
because that's when you get ready for the training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to hear that Kurt is feeling good about his progression and where he can go. But for Falcon fans in the chat and for those watching, it's the off season. Feel good about your team. Still go play golf and play basketball and do your fitness and do whatever. But feel good about the team that if Kirk Cousins is the answer, his stats prove that we can be moving the chains very quickly here when
Yep.
the season starts.
Yep.
From first down to first down to touchdown to the whole building just going crazy. Primetime games. You want primetime games? We can get that here
Mm-hmm.
in Atlanta too as well. We can get that on the road too as well. And don't forget, for all the Falcon fans that is going on the road this season, man, every time I post this, I get a question about it, or I get somebody PMing me or asking me. Yes, this is the group that me and my friends started.
Rise
I
up to her.
don't, I don't know who told them or told you that maybe somebody else, but no, this is the group that me and my friends started. Thomas Scott, who's also in the chat too as well. So we got a lot of stuff going on this year. We're continuing to plan. We had a great meeting today with some people. I can't wait to tell you all about. We're probably going to drop some information about it soon, but we had a great meeting today too as well. I know Thomas and the crew over there is working hard, and I know everybody together is all as a collective is trying to make sure fans have a great time this season. So the Rise Up Tour group, man, we're going to Vegas. We're going to Philly, which we all need to be together in Philly.
Amen.
My homeboy already said it. Don't come out here thinking y'all finna be doing all this extra shit. Just know that Philly fans about that action.
Philly's rough. Yeah. I think they have a
Philly's about
prison
that
under.
action.
They have a jail under the stadium. I think.
A lot of stadiums do too as well. But I guess the joke was like they just they're locking you up like before the game starts type shit.
Yeah. They. Philly,
You know.
hey man, these guys booed Santa Claus. I mean,
Sure.
they threw batteries at JD Drew, a baseball player, and the reason
He
that's
threw
important
batteries
is
apparently at the Vikings fans too as well
yeah,
for that
but
playoff game.
a battery from like 30 stories up is a bullet. Just so you know, by the time it hits the ground, the velocity at which that thing is traveling may as well be a bullet. So my point is, to Jake's point, these guys are about that action. So if you're going up there to Philly, you probably want to stay together, and you probably don't want to hang out very long after the game, especially if the Dirty Birds win. Just saying.
Big
Just
shout
saying.
to Carlo Wiggins in the chat. He said New Orleans was a movie Saturday night. You talking about when we threw the party in New Orleans this year? Big shout to Pastor Troy, man. Pastor Troy been rocking with us for such a long time. I need to get Troy on the channel too as well. But yeah, big shout to Troy. Big shout to everybody who's down there. Had all this stuff going on too as well. Big shout to Ryan Cameron. But of course, Carlos talking about that Saturday night party in New Orleans. Man, Terry. Not you, Siri. I said Terry. Get out of here. Terry, so from the stage to the bar, it probably took my homie about 25 to 30 minutes to grab drinks and get back. from
Mm,
the stage to the bar. I'm talking
mm,
about that shit was packed. You feel what I'm
man.
saying? That
Mm-hmm.
shit was packed, bro. It was like well over, man, I want to say about 600 fans. But
Wow.
we always we reach maximum capacity too as well. Big shout out to everybody that showed up and rocked out with us. You know how we do it when we do the tour, man. We got a lot of people that's gonna be rocking with us this year. A couple more special guests that we're gonna be bringing out. Don't want to make too many names, but I think for those that's going on that cruise, our Falcon cruise over the summer, we have a lot going on as well. Outside was live too as well. Yeah, man, we really do a big job when it comes to making sure fans have a good time on the road, man. I do a lot. Thomas does a lot. Look, Adrian Holmes too as well. Hope we play in Philly and Sao Paulo. So Adrian Holmes, a diehard Atlanta Falcon fan who lives in Seattle, Washington. For those that do not know, we played in Seattle, Washington a couple years ago when we beat the Seahawks. And Adrian Holmes was a big time help for us, Falcon fans that went out there to Seattle, assisting us with places to go eat, restaurants, places to stay, what to do downtown, what to do near the stadium, and of course helping Rise Up tour members with some cool stuff. Man, we had a couple meet and greets. Then we had the scavenger hunt downtown Seattle by Pike Place Market. Bro, you talking about Falcon fans running around Pike? Seahawks fans were like, "What the hell they doing?" go in hell, man, going crazy. What cruise flip? I'll let you know, man. We have a Rise Up tour, Sun and Fun cruise, over the summer. It's 100 and I think we have like 115 Falcon fans right now, on the cruise. So yeah, man, we've been doing this, bro. It's been 6 years with the tour, bro. So we're gonna continue doing this, and we got a lot of major stuff happening too as well. But yeah, we want to go ahead and wrap it up. Rise Up Tour. Go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Tell your Falcons friends. Tell your Falcons family. We are always here. Feel free to reach out to me, Vern, if you need me. Anybody in the chat that has any questions or comments about the podcast or about the tour, hit me up. Adrian Holmes is in the chat. She's having a good time. Big shout out to your husband too. Tell your husband we said what's up. Sullivan, what's good, Shucky Ducky fam? I know he asked about his restaurant, if we can come by to his restaurant for lunch. This I can guarantee you this, Sullivan. Sometime before the season starts, we're gonna make our way up there for lunch.
Do it on a Friday.
Just
Let's do it on a
someday,
Friday.
before the season starts. He's been asking this since last season. It's been my bad. I apologize, Sullivan, for I don't know if it's time travel, communication, or just what we've been doing. Plus, Sullivan, when it comes to the Falcons, I'm there. Like, it doesn't matter what they're doing, I'm there. But yes, we will stop by the restaurant, man. We can stop by the restaurant.
Definitely, no doubt.
Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. This has been great doing a quick pop-up podcast with everybody here in the chat. For those listening, watching, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, we do appreciate everybody's support here on One Time for the Fan. Terry, as we get ready to wrap up the show, any shout outs, sir?
Well, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you and all of my One Time for the Fan counterparts, as on Friday evening we reached 700 subscribers. So I didn't want to let that go. I felt like that should be celebrated, and hopefully we are well on our way to 800. But I felt good being a part of that, and I wanted to say that I'm very proud to be associated with One Time for the Fan. Other than that, hey, man, thank God. Woke me up in the morning. Thank God continues to bless me. And, the more I get blessed, the more humble I get, because I realize that, he really doesn't have to. So I want to thank him. I want to thank all the wonderful fans. You guys, I see you shouting out to me in the chats, and I appreciate the love and appreciate the camaraderie. And, hey, man, just love talking about the Falcons. So thank you all. Specifically One Time for the fans. Again, thank you guys, love you guys, and let's get it. Obviously, shout out to my family, shout out to my friends. Jake, you keep inviting me, I'll keep coming back. Cannot thank you enough. Love being a part of it. And hey, man, let's go Falcons. I defer to you, sir.
Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Diane Day Markham, one of the admins from the Rise Up Tours, here too as well. See, you see how we have so much gear. We do have ladies apparel, we do have men's apparel. Rise Up Tour. This is the London shirt for those that went to London last year. For those that rocked out in London, mate. Yeah, we rocked out in London. Yeah, we do big things out there. Yeah.
That's what we did.
We do big things. Yeah. rise up
Big
to our big
teams,
shot to them.
man.
If
Big
we go
teams, yeah.
back to London, we'll definitely be out there too as well. I don't think we'll be going back to Germany I don't think we'll go to Germany this year. That's definitely not going to be in the plans. Germany probably going to be in the works next year. You know the tour is going to be there. So big shout out to everybody. Any content creators that want to link up, hit me up. We'll go ahead and set that up too as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting One Time for the Fam. Once again, Terry mentioned it. We went over 700 subscribers the other night on our panel where somebody sent me the invite. Big Low Country. I jumped on. We started talking Falcons football for almost 2.5 hours, man.
Big Low.
It's good to have people around you, not only content creators, but fans that talk Falcons football. Sterling Woods can tell you, he might send me a couple questions randomly on a Tuesday evening. I just might respond like, bro, look at the team, look at XYZ. He wants to talk Falcons football, man. So what can we do? Talk Falcons football. This is what it's all about.
Steve is hilarious. Oh my God. Uncle Steve was hilarious. But that was half the fun for me because he kept doing songs and we got to have him on the show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true as well. Big
we got to have him on the show, Chad.
It was Country, it was Smitty, it was Berto, it was A1, it was Uncle Steve and myself. That was who I was missing on that show. It was Uncle Steve. Big shout out to Uncle Steve, man, because he had
my God.
The soundboard going crazy that night too as well.
It was fun. It was fun. If you didn't see it, guys, please go back and watch it. Everybody was hilarious. I'm not gonna clown Berto, but they did clown him for his pick. But when you guys see it, you'll see what we're talking about. We did have a mock draft. It was hilarious. And again, Chris, Smitty, Uncle Steve, everybody was just great. Berto, Big Low is hilarious. But I tell you what, that Uncle Steve with that soundboard, man, hilarious.
Yeah, he's killing it. Dixon Way had it the other night too as well. When Dixon Way would talk to you, and he's like, well, I just want to let you know, and he's over there pressing something, and then the soundboard would start. He's just looking at the camera. And I'm like, what the hell? But Dixon Way had me dying with that damn One Piece shit, man. When he put that One Piece up. Oh my God. I don't even think I cried like that on the screen when it comes to laughing, man. Dixon Way got it, man. That was a good one. That was a good one, Larry.
Yeah.
Big shout out to once again everybody here representing One Time for the Fan and the Atlanta Falcons. Let's just go out here and win it, y'all. What can you do when you show up to the parade and you have a ring? Right? Everybody's having a good day. Go to Dixon Way. Look, he's in the chat too as well, man. Shout out to Larry, man. But yes, Wednesday evening is going to be a little bit different. I know everybody's used to the 8 p.m. show, but a little bit different now. We have a diehard that's going to be joining us here talking Falcons football. And you guys know we love talking Falcons football with those diehard Atlanta Falcon fans. And, of course, diehard Atlanta Falcons journalists. And when you got people who do it on the radio or for the newspaper or whatever, it's always good to sit down and chop it up with them and talk Falcons football. So your boy, John Michaels will be stopping by Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. He has a busy schedule. And of course, here at One Time for the Fan, I've been trying to get John on the channel for about a week. And then his time was messed up. My time was messed up. His time was messed up because we have a lot of stuff to do. But now we agreed 6:30 p.m. It is good to go. John Michaels, man. You've heard him on the radio. We promised John we're not going to mention UGA, right? We promise we won't mention UGA. I know he's a big Kane guy, and the Canes haven't,
Spend a minute.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs!
But then again, that's ACC. This is SEC. So we ain't going to talk about college football unless we're going at what player from the University of Miami would look good in the Falcons uniform.
Oh, man. Keon!
No, that's Florida State.
Oh, that it? I'm embarrassed.
Miami had I think they had that linebacker that was actually pretty decent. Go ahead and look at it too.
You know what? Let me tell you something, man. I'm digging some Keon, man. I would love for the Falcons to get him in the second or third round. I know I said defense, but I'd make an exception for Keon because that dude is phenomenal. But anyway.
305 in the chat. Manuel's in the chat. Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. 6:30 p.m. We have John Michaels. We'll wrap that show up in probably less than an hour. And then shortly after that, We might have another special guest. I'm working on that too as well. We haven't confirmed it. And there possibly will be a mock draft going on. So come on back Wednesday night. We're going to have a great time. He said all players from Miami look good in any uniform. Big shout out to Emmanuel McFarland here in the chat. Sterling Wood said I'm ready for this draft. Everybody, head on over to Dirty Fanatics United. You can look it up on YouTube. That's my boy Chase, man. Head it on over to Dirty Fanatics United. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Tell your Falcons friends. Tell your Falcons family, man. Rise up. We pretty much all we got, man. We all we got. What else you want?
CMB. We all we got.
We all we got, man.